Police need to go to jail for what they've done. They can't continue to get away with this. And it's one thing to sue the state or sue the Victoria Police organisation, but police need to go to jail so that justice isn't robbed.
Avi Amini for Rebel News in Melbourne, Australia, as promised here to keep you posted with every update when it comes to probably one of the most infamous COVID warriors of our time, the notorious Nick Patterson. For those of you who don't remember what happened, Nick, during one of the protests, was ordered to move on with the group. As they were following the move on order, they were followed, hunted, bashed just 10 metres from their cars, arrested and charged. Many of those charges dropped when it comes to some of the others in the group. But Nick, they haven't dropped his case. In fact, they've been pushing as far as they can, even with your strict bail conditions. Nick, tell us what's happening.
First of all, what I'm going through is a malicious prosecution, and that's very easily provable by the imposition of these bail conditions that I was given originally. And then even after I had all the full gag order that they put on me for criticising the government, once they took that away, I still was unable to leave the state, and there's no actual reason for that. They'd let me leave the state on 2 other occasions, and then because I spoke about police and government corruption, they wouldn't let me leave the state again. I had just had that condition removed of my bail condition, so now I can leave the state, and I can now associate with my friends who are in that interaction with me, who I haven't been able to spend any time with or communicate with for 2.5 years. These people don't like to be exposed, and I'm going to put it in biblical terms. There's only 2 sides. There's the people who are of the truth and people who are of the lie. Satan's the father of lies, God's the God of truth. The mainstream media, they like to create false narratives, and out of those false narratives, they establish some sort of a stronghold to build up their power. COVID was the same thing, and a lot of the other narratives they create give them power, but they're always based on lies. When somebody speaks out against those lies and has a platform, and they have the truth on their side, if they're getting traction, you're always going to be attacked by the police. The social media platforms will kick you off the platforms, and you'll be targeted by the state.
So you're saying now your bail conditions have been lifted. How did you get those bail conditions lifted? What happened?
We had to do a bail variation. So earlier this year, we had the former prosecutor and then another Crown prosecutor both agree that we could administratively remove those bail conditions. But then the informant, the one who brought the charges against me, her name's Talia Hall, she got in the way and refused to let that happen for some reason. Now, there was no grounds for that at all. And then right before, like 10 minutes before our bail variation hearing, she provides an affidavit agreeing to all of these conditions being lifted. So you can just see that what they're doing here, it's just to drag this out maliciously, put me through a process. And the only reason for that is because I'm speaking out against the mainstream lies and the scams, and people listen to me. Not everybody listens to me, but a lot of people do. And because they do, and I'm getting information out, they just want to attack me, and they want to restrict my ability to speak, my ability to even survive and live, because it's very expensive, as you know, to go through a vexatious and malicious prosecution when the police drag their feet. I mean, we've had like 12 mention hearings for disclosure material. That still hasn't been provided. That costs me every time we're going to go to court, get the lawyers there, solicitor there, requesting, sending emails. This is expensive and it's painful.
Well, the process is certainly the punishment, but we're going to be here, like I said, all along the way to share it with the world, even though we're not in the height of COVID anymore and a lot of people have lost interest. We haven't, because we think it's important. A lot of what happened during COVID will be applied and could and will be applied later on with other emergencies. So thank you for sticking it out. What's the next court date?
So I have a tentative trial date for the 20th of May. I would like to have this dealt with. I mean, there's a good chance that they just throw it out at the last minute, because that's what they've been doing to everybody else. Basically, that's what happened with Simon. And he's actually one of the witnesses in my case as well. But they dragged him through a vexatious, malicious prosecution, and then it was all thrown out and the police had to pay his costs. The same thing might happen with me, and I expect that to happen. but I'm hoping that they go to trial so we can really beat them and have that battle in the court. Because then if we beat them, we properly beat them. There's no conceding anything. It's just we actually have the fight, and we're going to win because we got the evidence anyway. And I don't know how they think they can win when there's fails to be any evidence that they can rely upon to prosecute me. I think they're very committed though, because they've gone this far without any relent. You know, I've spent a lot of money on this court case, and we've got a lot of material that we're going to use later on. And the plan is to prosecute these bastards. And, you know, police need to go to jail for what they've done. They can't continue to get away with this. And it's one thing to sue the state or, you know, or sue the Victoria Police organisation, but police need to go to jail so that justice isn't robbed.
If you think it's important for the world to see what's still happening in the name of your health, make sure to like, comment, but most importantly, share it far and wide, because the mainstream media have gone silent, MIA, because they can no longer demonise Nick and co, the defendants, the people being persecuted in our state. And if you want to see some of the other cases and keep up to date with Nick's case, fightthefines.com.au, you can see it all there.